Morning guys, 5th of September here in, I was going to say sunny South Australia. We are heading for 36, but you can probably see the sky behind me is a little bit on the grey side. Anyway, it's been for quite a while now since I've done a vid, so I thought I'd pop one out. We'll see how the garden's fared after winter. And first up, assistant foreman, that's Bubba. Just quickly, you'll see Bubba's got a big patch on his back. He had an abscess removed. Poor little bugger really in the wars, because he had all that shaved, had the abscess removed, then a week later I went and got him nutted, so poor little bugger. And there's the main man, the foreman, that's Tom. Just coming to check on the job. We go well, Tom. Okay, just quickly, let's get a starting point. Righto, just a reference point. If you've been watching before, you'll know the reference point. Compost. Okay, I emptied that compost, rolled it over into this one, left it in for a month and a half or so, and the bigger stuff I put back in the other stuff I put on one of the garden beds, but you'll see that in a minute. Let's have a quick squeeze around. Cherry tree. Cherry, it's going well. Christmas time, I'm hoping I'll get some cherries on that this year. There is some what looks to be buds on the tree, so hopefully cherries this year. Although if it's a Christmas time I might not be here. It's another story too. Peach tree. Peach and the cherry both but at the same age. They both went at the same time. Cherry's always a little bit slower, but the peach, I got about a dozen and a half peaches last year. And if you can see there, and where are we, up here somewhere, there's probably a couple of hundred peaches on it. I know I'm not going to get a couple of hundred peaches, but that's a really good start. Orange tree, still oranging. I really am just hanging for this thing to drop all its fruit. I've been trying to give it away so it's empty so I can give it a good prune, but the bloody thing just hangs on to the fruit. You can see they're about ready to bud again. If you remember, I cut the, I didn't cut the bugger out. I took a bit off the orange tree, but I really want to get in and get some shape to it. Lemon tree, I took it back to the top rail of the fence, not the top of the fence, the top rail. And you can see how much it's grown in 2 years. More fruit on it at the moment than what I could use. But more importantly, you can see all the new flowers. And anyone who's got a lemon tree will know just how well they smell. They smell that well that I'll put a chair down next to it so I can sit here and just suck in all that lemon essence. Nectarine. I got a few off it last year, not heaps. The year before I got heaps, but again I cut the buggery out of it. But you'll see I've got fruit coming there. Oh, he's probably behind the leaf. But there's plenty of fruit. There's probably, I'm going to say 150 little nectarines on it. And some of the tree, that's the older part of the tree, is still coming on. So I don't know what's happening with that. That's just totally different. We'll just have to wait and see. See the assistant foreman's having a coffee break. Okay, the mandarin. Didn't get lots on it last year, more than what I could eat. But it wasn't absolutely loaded. You'll see some on the ground there because I just couldn't eat them all. It is still loaded, there is still a lot on there, but more importantly, and I hope the camera picks this up, flowers. Lots and lots of flowers all the way to the top. I didn't get the mandarins up near the top last year, or I did obviously because there's a couple hanging up there, but not many. But again, once that gets, once those flowers open up, they'll be heaven to smell. Like I said, anybody with a citrus tree will know what I mean. Apricot. Again, you remember 2 years ago I cut the buggery out of it. You can see the size of the stuff I cut out there and over there. I got some apricots, not heaps last year, but I don't know if we can get that with the light behind it. Let's see if I can find a better one where there's no light behind it. There, okay. It's loaded with apricots. I won't get them all, the birds will get, the majority of them, but the birds can have what's up high because that's too hard to pick anyway, as long as they leave some down low for me. There's a good bunch just in there. there next to it, all up this branch here. So yeah, there's hundreds of apricots. So touch wood, because I do like my apricots. Apples. Now, I've got a green and a red. I don't know what variety they were here when I came. And I came in which I think this is the red one we're looking at. You can see it's flowering, coming towards the end of its flowering. I don't think I've seen any fruit on this just yet, but it is still a little bit early for this one. The one next to it here, that was the green, I think. It was really just a bush when I moved in. Again, I cut the crap out of it. It's always been a little bit behind the other one, but you can see it's flowering. The leaves are opened up, which I'm really happy with. Again, between the two, even after I cut them, I got more apples than what I could eat. More apples than you can wave a stick at. Now let's just spin around. Raspberries. A little bit excited about my raspberries. They're just starting to sprout again. Some of them are a little bit slow. I'm hoping they're just slow and they haven't died over the winter. But I've got a couple of suckers coming up as well down here. I know I'm going to get suckers, but I'm hoping I can dig them up and replace some of the ones that have died in the middle. So they're going well. A bit of reference. Fruit trees, veggie gardens, shed, cherry tree right in the distance there. Okay, back over here, the passion fruit. I should be able to grow these bloody things like a weed. This one here hasn't overwintered particularly well. I put him in just before winter. It's a non-grafted variety. And I've got one over this side that looks to be going really well. It's a grafted variety, and most of those shoots are coming out from under the graft. Yep, hang on, I've just got the assistant foreman checking on me. Hey bub. He's just checking the job. Getting a vantage point. He's going to try and jump up on the roof from there, I can see it. He's checking that, he's looking for it. Up on this roof here. Come on bub. We're going this way. Now we've got to work out how to get down. Grapes. These went in last year, about 12 or 15 months ago maybe. And I cut them back last year. Didn't get any grapes, but I didn't expect any. But this year I fully suspect I'll get grapes. This is a red. I could probably tell you the variety. Just bear with me. Okay, it's a crimson seedless apparently. I made sure I got seedless. I hate spitting out grape pips. And this one over here is a Thompson green. Again, it's just started to shoot again, so I'm hoping that we'll get grapes on both of those. Okay, so we're back to the starting point. Back to the compost bins. I just want to show you one quick thing around behind the tanks here. These two water tanks. I've been running off this big water tank for the last probably 3 or 4 months. And unless you get some rain, the thing's about to run out. I've still got, I don't know, probably a couple of thousand gallons in that, but I'd like this one here to fill up. It's 22,500 litres. Tamarillos. Tamarillos or tree tomatoes. If you hadn't heard of them, Google it. They grow a fruit not dissimilar in size to a passion fruit, but they're more egg-shaped. And you scoop them out like a passion fruit, but they're quite tart. They're an acquired taste. These went in last year. The frost last winter knocked, or early this winter just gone, knocked them. Actually, they went in just before winter. So the frost knocked them. I covered them. They've come back really well, and you can see this one at least has got some flowers on it. So got quite a few flowers actually. So I'm hoping to get some fruit on him. These guys don't. It's not like some fruit trees where you've got to wait 5 years to get fruit, which is just as well, because these guys have only got about a 7 or 8 year lifespan. So if you had to wait 5 years to get fruit, no one would grow them. But veggie gardens, you know the routine by now. We've done all of this before. First one, I had beetroot in here. I've taken the beetroot, you can see some of the old dead leaves there. Still got some carrots there. Now the beetroot, I made a beetroot relish out of it, and blowing my own trumpet a little bit, I won first prize at the local show with my beetroot relish, so I was happy with that. This one here, I haven't actually planned it. I did drop some capsicum seeds in there early in the year, just some old capsicums I had, see if they come up over the spring, but you can see how much it's sunk. I probably need to put another 250 mil of fill in that, but I don't have it at the moment. Same with this bed here, it's sunk a lot. I planted the rhubarb in there. I'm going to let it go this year, but if I can get some more dirt next year, I'll lift him and top that bed right up. I knew the beds were going to sink. You know, that's just the nature of how I built them, unfortunately. Spring onions, I pulled up most of my spring onions, cut them up and froze them. Same again, you can see how much the bed sunk, because there's so much organic stuff in the bottom of the bed. These are my new beds, these ones I'm showing you. These are only the small ones. Onions, I'm not sure when to pick onions, to be honest. I tried picking one that looked big enough to pick, and there was nothing on the bottom of it, so I'm thinking I've probably got to wait for the tops to dry out a bit. This one over here, I planted spuds in there for a long time ago. This is a bit of an experiment, this one. This one's going to sink a heap because there's a little bit of dirt, but most of it's straw bales. I put straw bales on the bottom, put a little bit of dirt on top, like a couple of inches, planted the spuds on top of that, bit more straw on top, and you can see how much that's sunk as well. And I've got one spud come up, so we'll wait and see. These pots here are some of my bananas. I reckon 2 of them might survive. I'm hoping 3, but I think 2 of them might survive. This bed right next to me, I've got some eucalypts. The council did one of those tree giveaways a couple of months ago, so I went and grabbed 4 eucalypts. I've got no idea what they are. I don't think they were labelled from memory, but I've got a spot for them. And these other pots here, you can see some smaller plants in there. I've got some quandongs growing. Now, quandongs apparently are a parasitic. They like to grow with something else, so I put some salt bush in with them. See how they go? It's a prostrate form of salt bush. You'll send it up near the tree. That should grow quite nicely. Another spud. This was another one of those beds I did probably 2 years ago. When I first put it in, I put spuds in. That's the first one to actually come up. My chilies from last year, well, you can see that wasn't actually the frost that killed them. I had them covered, but I didn't take the cover off on a hot day and they actually burnt. But the far one has still got a little bit of green, so I'm still watering it and we'll see what happens. Other than that, I've got chilli seedlings, those seedlings you just saw. I've got tomatoes and chilies there. Brussels sprouts. Second time trying them. Look, I probably won't try them again. I don't think I'm going to get anything off them. If nothing else, I'll make good manure, good compost, but I don't think I'll bother with the Brussels sprouts next year. I don't mind sprouts, but it's going to cost me more to try and grow them than it is to buy them. More beetroot. After the success with the other beetroot, I planted more here. The bed should have been full. Some of them didn't survive, but I suspect that's probably the cats digging. I have dropped some seed in as well to see if any of the seed comes up, but I want to do more with the beetroot relish. Just one thing I've done over the last little bit of time, if you can see this trellis over the top here, from that bed across to that bed, high enough to walk through. It's probably 2 and a bit metres high, and I've got it on all 3 of these rows of beds. They're my climbing frames for tomatoes. Those tomato seedlings I got in, hopefully. This one here was to be a climbing frame for beans. Again, beans, you would have thought they just grow like weeds, but I really have trouble with seeds here. Garlic, I've got some garlic coming. I've got given some peas the other day. I think they're probably shelling peas, I don't really know. They were just some seedlings that were being given away, and they were near dead when I got them, but they just needed a good drink of water. This bed over here, I had turnips and Swedes in here over the winter. I pulled them up, they're all chopped up in the freezer. I planted some more of those peas at that far end, and I've got some tomatoes already started. These are just Gross Lizzie tomatoes, and again a bit of a pea growing there, but I'm hoping to train the tomatoes up that trellis. And you'll see on this side I've got a trellis there as well. It only goes up head height, but I want to try and grow the peas on that. And I've got one on this other bed as well. they actually lean out a little bit. So hopefully if I get the peas growing up, when they grow peas, they'll hang a little bit. This bed here, I grew some kale. Yeah, probably won't do that again. It's fairly obvious why. Nobody wants kale. I don't know why I grew it. Maybe I just had it in my head. It wasn't as bad as what I thought it was. And a couple of tomatoes down here as well. Okay, so that's the garden beds. That's my fruit trees, my garden beds. Context, we're back to the raspberries. Looking back over the patch. So I've got, what have we got now, 14 garden beds in. Some of the bigger ones here and some small ones up the top there. Okay, I just want to show you what I'm doing out the front. I was talking about those eucalypts and the condongs that I'm growing for a different little project. So just bear me, let me get the camera up a bit. Got a habit of pointing it at the ground. I mean, it's very nice ground, but you don't want to be seeing it. It's a little bit of a mess out here, it's sort of winter. The honeysuckle's growing nicely over there, it's kicked on. Now across the road against that fence, I had 3 loads of mulch delivered. It's taken me a bit of time, but I've spread the mulch. And I know it's not my property, but there's no power lines above that side. So that's where the eucalypts are going and the condongs are going. And if I get more mulch, the plan is to do right down to the corner there. The neighbour there, he's happy with me doing it. And around the corner, and if I've got time and more mulch, the neighbour down this way, on the other side of the road here, on my side of the road rather, he's happy for me to do his nature strip all the way to the corner too. I want to make this a little bit of a garden street. Everyone sort of turns their nose down to this area. It used to be called Tin Town. I'll show you why. Just a little bit of history. But I've got a car yard next to me. I think I've mentioned the car yard before, a bit of a junkyard. It's spreading out onto the road, as you can see. I don't mind at the moment because he's a good neighbour. I never see him. But down the track somewhere I would like him to clear the road. Then he came out on the road here because he was making some more room in the yard, trying to organise it. But see that yellow shed there? That's why they called it Tin Town. That's an old house. And back in the day, that's what all the houses down here were like, just tin sheds. So the name, got the name Tin Town. And like I say, everybody in town turns their nose down at it because it's Tin Town. You know, you live in Tin Town on the wrong side of the train tracks. So I just want to try and give this little area a little bit of a spruce up anyway, for what I can do. I think that's it. I think I've shown you pretty much all the yard. Don't know if you can see up on the shed there, the assistant foreman did get up. Now he's got to work out how to get down. It's always easy climbing up, it's hard getting down. But yeah, that's it for today. I've got nothing else to report, I don't think. So we'll catch you next time. And as I keep saying, don't forget, like, subscribe and comment. I love reading the comments. I even have a laugh at the nasty ones, to be honest. They don't do much for me, but I have a bit of a laugh at them. So any sort of comments. Okay, we'll catch you next time. Bye.